Good evening, I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Andrew is away tonight. Ottawa gets some new border advice. Scrap the quarantine hotels.
This is not for implementation tomorrow, but we have to be prepared.
We'll check in on the government's reaction. Also tonight, sign of the times, an Oilpatch institution changes its name.
It's a shame that we have to do something like that to take it out.
The parents of a journalist abducted by Belarus speak out. And south of the border, incentives to encourage shots in arms.
Yeah, you got it vaccinated right under the wheel. Pretty dope.
Why not everyone is buying it? This is The National. The rules around Canada's border are being criticized tonight as unfair, behind the times, and not really in line with the science. An expert panel says they need to change. We are talking about the quarantine hotels and the lengths of time required to isolate. All through the pandemic, expert advice has played a crucial, sometimes controversial role. This time, it's the advisory panel on screening and testing for COVID-19. Ashley Burke has their review and the government response.
The use of quarantine hotels has drawn multiple criticisms. Too expensive, an unfair loophole for those who can afford to pay a fine, and different rules if you drive across the border. Now a panel of experts says the program should go.
The panel felt, I think like most Canadians, that travelers should be treated the same way, whether they were arriving by land or by air.
The panel found that quarantining at home is just as effective. The report also said as more people get vaccinated, the quarantine rules should change too.
Potentially, that there's a little bit of an incentive there for people to get vaccinated, particularly if they're going to travel.
This is not for implementation tomorrow, as we hear that many parts of the country aren't ready for this, but we have to be prepared.
The panel recommended if you can prove you're fully vaccinated, you don't need to get tested before flying to Canada and only need a test when you arrive, and then shouldn't need to quarantine. Anyone partially vaccinated would still need to get tested, but can end at-home quarantine as soon as the test comes back negative.
As we look at the evidence around vaccines and the efficacy of them after being fully immunized, I think it is absolutely appropriate to be looking at that evidence and then making our policy based on that evidence.
The battered airline industry says it's about time.
With vaccination rates increasing exponentially in Canada and with provincial governments bringing forward their own restart plans, the time is now for the federal government to work very closely with industry and to quickly work with the expert panel report so that we can put forth a very clear plan for the safe restart of aviation and tourism for Canada.
But the border remains closed for non-essential travel.
When the time comes, we all look forward to that, but it's still not time for non-essential travel.
At the present time, that's certainly the stance with respect to the requirements for any incoming traveler, regardless of vaccination status.
Okay, so Ashley, what is the government's reaction to this report?
Well, Adrienne, in a statement tonight, the ministers involved said they welcome the report and will continue to monitor and review all scientific data. What they don't indicate is that they're about to make any changes.
And that's what everyone is waiting for. Ashley, thank you.
Thank you.
With Canada's vaccine supply surging, many Canadians hope to get their second shot sooner than planned. And some provinces are explaining how they're trying to make that happen. Briar Stewart looks at what's changing and where.
Walking her dog is the only time Nina LaChapelle leaves her home. She survived lung cancer and doesn't understand why people like her aren't being prioritized for a second dose.
I don't want to be mean and say that, younger people shouldn't be getting it. I believe everybody should be getting it. But if you're going to put somebody on hold, put the people that are healthier on hold.
But she may be getting some good news soon. Tomorrow, Ontario will be updating its vaccine rollout, and like many other provinces, it's planning to shorten the duration between doses. In BC, officials announced most people should be able to get their second shot after 8 weeks. Tens of thousands learned this afternoon that they're now eligible.
Those at greatest risk will be at the top of the list for dose 2.
Welcome news for Robert O'Doherty, who got his first dose in March.
I want it ASAP.
Okay.
I would like it now. I would like it yesterday.
Millions of more doses of Pfizer and Moderna are being shipped into Canada, which is why the timeline is moving up. Some who got AstraZeneca for their first shot are also now getting their second one. In Ontario, the province is scrambling to use 45,000 doses of AstraZeneca set to expire in the next few days.
We have seen approximately 7,000 second doses that have been given over the past 3 days.
Quebec, too, is trying to use up its AstraZeneca supply. People can now get their second dose of that vaccine 8 weeks after their first shot.
For now, we have 150,000. And this is the reason we go very quickly with the no appointment arrangement.
The hope is that vaccine uptake continues to rise and many can get both doses in time for summer when provinces really start to lift most restrictions. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
And today, government officials confirmed another 2 million doses of the Moderna vaccine will arrive by next month, starting with the shipment of 500,000 coming in next week.
The next confirmed shipment for 1.5 million doses is set to arrive in country mid-June.
Still, though, Moderna is behind on its deliveries to Canada. It had promised to ship a little over 14 million doses by July. To date, it has delivered about 5.5 million and maintains it's had production issues. While many provinces are marking reopening plans in Manitoba, optimism is on hold for now. The province is extending public health restrictions, and as Cam McIntosh explains, hoping to take some pressure off a healthcare system deeply strained.
Given Manitoba's numbers, few expected schools in Winnipeg could actually reopen next week. Doesn't mean they weren't hoping.
You would like to send them back to school? Yeah, but then the vaccines and stuff.
Arius McKay, like many, now wondering with the case numbers if reopening sometime in June is even worth it.
I'm not too sure if I'm going to be sending my kids back to school, actually.
So these new public health orders will take effect Saturday.
Schools just part of yet another extension of health orders that have banned gatherings, limited retail, and now enable the province to rapidly shut down businesses with outbreaks.
Manitobans must stay home.
Even the Premier admits it's a tired message, but he's sticking with it, asking businesses to move to remote work while resisting calls for a lockdown.
There's another factor. That's the willingness of people to follow the rules. That's a key determinant in the model that public health uses.
Effectiveness of Manitoba's ever-tightening rules is still an open question. Cases are down, but ICUs keep filling up. In fact, patient demand caused this hospital to use a secondary oxygen supply. Manageable, but a show of strain. Airlifts to other provinces continue. 25 ICU patients have gone to Ontario. Saskatchewan will take 5. The province is looking into the death of one whose condition deteriorated just before transport.
One of the things that we've definitely learned about COVID is it's unpredictable and people can change course reasonably suddenly.
Meanwhile, vaccinations are slowing. 63% of adults have at least one shot, but now appointments open to anyone are going unused.
The more vaccine uptake we get, the more we're going to protect Manitobans, the sooner we're going to start being able to look at lifting these restrictions.
So, Cam, I'm curious about the vaccines. What is causing the stall?
Well, it seems right now in Manitoba, we've reached that point where everyone that wanted a vaccine either has an appointment or has had a first shot already. So the province is running up against some hesitancy. It's going to try some culturally sensitive messaging in some racialized and BIPOC Indigenous communities where there is some hesitancy. Also, the Premier says that they are going to try to incentivize vaccines with an opening plan, as distant as opening does feel right now in this province, Adrian.
I bet. Cam McIntosh in Winnipeg. Thank you, Cam. As Ontario readies itself for a cautious reopening, one issue that hasn't been settled is the reopening of schools. Today, Premier Doug Ford admitted he still doesn't have an answer. And as Deanna Sumanak-Johnson explains, he is asking for advice in a very open way.
Romana Siddiqui's 3 children have missed their friends, and her youngest has struggled with online schooling, but she doesn't think schools should reopen for in-person learning.
I feel that with all of the sacrificing that our community has done, that can easily be undone. We can easily slip back And it has taken us months to get to where we are.
Balancing the risks and benefits of a return to class for just a few weeks is a hot topic. Today, Premier Doug Ford made public his letter to Ontario's regional medical officers of health. It pointed to recent modelling that a return could lead to an increase of 6 to 11% in the number of new daily cases. It also asked if the variant discovered in India posed an increased risk to students and education workers. It's a dilemma other provinces have already addressed. Alberta sent kids back to school this week.
We have seen a sharp decline in cases in school-aged children in Alberta in the recent weeks.
And Quebec, which closed schools only in the hotspots during the third wave, started reopening them a month ago. This doctor says with promising results.
But we haven't had a surge of these cases and a rise in community transmission. And again, I think it's because most of the teachers, the parents are vaccinated, and we have these really quick contact measures.
This medical officer of health says his region is prepared for a minor uptick in cases.
When you look at declining case numbers, 6 to 11% becomes an acceptable risk to take in terms of us being able to manage those cases.
Dr. Kurji, like many of his colleagues, believes the decision to reopen schools should be made region by region. The Premier has given them a deadline to weigh in, 5 p.m. tomorrow. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
One of the ways Canada has been trying to track and prevent transmission of the virus is through smartphones, using an app to alert people when they may have been exposed. But how well is that working? Thomas Deglet got some access to data that helps answer that.
Can a smartphone really provide an early warning about a potential COVID case? For Alexandra Scotchulis, it sure did.
There's no way I would have known. I would have kept wandering around, doing my curbside pickups, going for jogs and not knowing that I was positive.
In December, the COVID Alert app displayed a notification like this, telling her she'd been exposed. Scotchulis then tested positive herself and avoided spreading the virus to her family.
For me, 100% it worked. We still all have it on our phones. We keep checking it.
And it's caught other cases too. Figures obtained by CBC News show last month alone, at least 400 users got an alert, then tested positive. Though that's just a small fraction of the 165,000 infections overall during the same period.
It's unfortunate we will not be able to count actual numbers of cases prevented as a result of the app, but I believe it's not zero.
Did you know that your smartphone can help limit the spread of COVID-19?
Since the app's release almost a year ago, it's been promoted by the federal government.
They all have the COVID Alert app
as a key tool in the pandemic. It's cost at least $3.5 million. But we've learned it may have far fewer users than the government's been suggesting.
We do know, however, that the more people have downloaded it, the more it's had an impact.
The government has repeatedly touted the app's more than 6.5 million downloads, but federal officials can now only confirm 3 million Canadians are using it properly.
The message has to resonate, right, with the people who are the intended users of the app. And I think there's still a lot of work we have to do there.
The bottom line is the app works, but it doesn't always work. Today, the development team reiterated users should open the app every day to make sure it's still scanning for exposure to the virus. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
In the UK, a rising tide of cases is creating worries about a possible delay to the end of its lockdown. Cases peaked at 68,000 in January. Then, thanks in part to restrictions and vaccinations, they fell steadily to a low of 1,600 in May. But recently, the daily count has crept up, with 3,500 today. Renee Filipponi explains what is driving the worry.
It's a community on an international flight path, and now Hounslow is one of England's hotspots for the rapidly spreading COVID variant first found in India. Mass testing and vaccination programs have been launched in an attempt to get it under control. This Sikh temple is being used as a pop-up clinic where anyone can show up for a vaccine.
We've been very busy. Early in the morning at 8 o'clock, we had over 250 people at that time, and the queues were backing out to here.
And that's what the government wants. It's a race against time with this variant that is now the dominant strain.
The latest estimates
are that more than half, and potentially as many as 3/4 of all new cases are now of this variant.
If it can't be controlled, there are concerns it could jeopardize the next step in England's reopening. This local councillor says the government is to blame because it didn't shut down travel from India fast enough.
They've got a history of delaying making decisions. They'd already put Pakistan and Bangladesh on the red list. They should have done the same for India at the time.
A recent study has found vaccines are effective against the variant after 2 doses. But at this point, only 45% of adults have had both.
The vaccine means that it's not going to get as bad as it was, but it could still be, getting towards that. If this had arrived, let's say 4 or 5 months down the line, we would have been in a much more relaxed position.
The spread of this variant here is also creating concerns in parts of Europe. Germany and France have introduced new quarantine rules for travelers from the UK. Austria has gone even further with a ban on flights. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, Hounslow, England.
Belarus is now increasingly isolated for faking a bomb threat on a plane in order to arrest a dissident journalist. But it's getting some help from Russia. Moscow refused permission for this Air France plane to land after it avoided Belarus's airspace. Meanwhile, the Swiss email provider used by Belarus for the alleged bomb threat revealed this today, saying we can confirm that the message in question was sent after the plane was redirected. The implication being that the so-called bomb threat came after the plane carrying Roman Protasevich was ordered to land. But he remains the center of the story, as Chris Brown shows us.
In exile from their home in Belarus as their son was, Natalia and Dmitry Protasevich pled with the world's leaders to save his life. Save my child, hear the cry of my soul, see a mother's tears, she said. The only glimpse of Roman Protasevich has come from what friends call a hostage video released by Belarusian authorities where he admits to organizing protests. His parents say he was obviously beaten before making it. Speaking with difficulty, his father said his son has always displayed honesty, justice, and openness. Belarus's strongman ruler Alexander Lukashenko used a fake bomb threat to divert Protasevich's Ryanair flight to Minsk, where he was arrested. Protasevich ran a social media channel that helped draw huge crowds to anti-Lukashenko rallies. European nations have been fast to denounce the Belarusian dictator, suspending flights to Belarus and working on a plan to restrict trade too. Anatol Kotow used to work in Lukashenko's administration, but he quit last year after rigged elections ended in violence. He told us the only way to force Lukashenko out is to starve the regime of money.
Lukashenko's economy cannot survive without external financing. And cutting off the sources of income, of course, will shorten his days.
Russia is Belarus's only real friend, and its state TV has been trying to smear Protasevich by saying he's a Nazi because in these photos he's seen wearing the uniform of a right-wing militia. His friends say he was simply a journalist embedded on an assignment. His exhausted parents said these would be their last words for a while. Hold on, son, we love you, and we'll get you out. Chris Brown, CBC News, Moscow.
The UN Human Rights Council will launch an investigation into the root causes of the recent violence in the Middle East.
There is no doubt that Israel has the right to defend its citizens and residents. However, Palestinians have rights too.
The UN's High Commissioner for Human Rights says some of Israel's actions may constitute war crimes and that Hamas violated international humanitarian law. Israeli attacks killed 242 Palestinians. Palestinian militant attacks killed 10 Israelis. In Ottawa today, the Prime Minister formally apologized for Canada's internment of Italian Canadians during the Second World War.
To stand up to the Italian regime that had sided with Nazi Germany, that was right. But to scapegoat law-abiding Italian citizens, that was wrong.
After Canada declared war on Italy in 1940, it labeled as enemy aliens more than 30,000 Italian Canadians. Hundreds were detained without charge and sent to internment camps. An expert witness at the coroner's inquiry into the death of Joyce Echaquan says she could have been saved.
Most of the things that could have happened could have been treated, and at some point we could have get her back to life.
The 37-year-old Atikamekw woman died last fall after live streaming a video during which hospital staff mocked and insulted her. The emergency room doctor who presented a report into her death said she died from a pulmonary edema. All right, let's go now to Vancouver, where Dan Burrett is standing by with the developing story. Dan, what's happening?
Adrian, Quebec Liberal MP William Amos has once again been caught unawares on webcam. In a statement posted on social media tonight, Amos says that while he was taking part in a virtual session of the House of Commons, he urinated without realizing he was on camera. He says this was accidental and could not be seen by the public, but still calls it completely unacceptable, and he apologizes. He goes on to say, "I will be stepping aside temporarily from my role as parliamentary secretary and from my committee duties so that I can seek assistance." Amos made headlines worldwide last month after appearing naked on an internal parliamentary feed, a virtual question period. Amos said he was changing his clothes after a jog and didn't realize his laptop camera was switched on. A Bloc Québécois MP later apologized for taking a screenshot of that moment. Adrian, back to you.
A major rebrand tonight in Canada's Oilpatch.
The Canadian Association of Energy Contractors.
Next, why Canada's oldest oil and gas trade association is dropping the word oil from its name.
It's a shame that we have to do something like that to take it out.
Nobody wants an election before the end of this pandemic.
So when could Canadians go to the polls? At Issue has a few ideas. And in the U.S., getting a vaccine can get you a lot more than immunity.
The lottery ticket convinced you to get a shot.
That's right.
Why is that?
Because I can always use extra money.
Americans sweeten the deal, but not everyone is convinced. We're back in 2. A new federal grant for homeowners is aimed at lowering energy bills and creating jobs.
And as a country, every effort counts to keep our air clean and our environment healthy.
The Canada Greener Homes Grant will provide up to $5,000 to eligible households. Indigenous governments and groups are also eligible. And there is a plan to recruit up to 2,000 energy advisors across the country. The estimated cost is $2.6 billion over 7 years. The oil and gas industry is certainly not immune to the big green push against emissions. Today, one of the Oilpatch's major industry associations took the word oil right out of its name. Kyle Bax shows us the reactions to that symbolic change.
In 1949, 10 drilling contractors began working together.
The history of this trade group for oil and gas drillers stretches back more than 70 years. Today, a historic change. The Canadian Association of Oil Well Drilling Contractors is scratching out the words oil and drilling from its name.
To reflect its expanded mandate and leading role in the oil and gas, hydrogen, helium, geothermal, and carbon capture utilization and storage sectors.
Some don't welcome oil's fall from prominence.
We don't want to talk about the dirty thing in our backyard there, so it's a shame that we have to do something like that to take it out.
The name change comes amid growing environmental pressure. In just the last week, investors forced ExxonMobil to commit to better climate reporting by adding directors. A European court ordered Royal Dutch Shell to cut emissions faster, which some environmentalists call a landmark case. And in Alberta, Suncor Energy told investors it will be net zero by 2050.
We understand where all our emissions come from. We understand the technology sets that are required, and we have specific initiatives underway that get us started on this.
Still, getting all the way to net zero is a challenge, especially as the industry pumps out record amounts of oil.
It just makes no sense to commit to net zero and promise sustainability while increasing production of oil for export.
For the drillers, removing the word oil from their name may change the organization's mandate, but the group says it still supports a prosperous oil patch for years to come. Kyle Bax, CBC News, Calgary.
In the United States, getting a COVID vaccine could really pay off.
Giving away this options, making them think, mind tingling, let me get this shot.
Ahead tonight, why Americans are being offered big prizes to roll up their sleeves. Next, though, Rosie is here with that issue.
Hey, Adrienne. Tonight we're going to talk about election speculation. That's right.
Nobody wants an election before the end of this pandemic.
What that means in reality for the government, the opposition, and for Canadians. Chantal, Andrew, and Althea will join all of us right after the break. There was agreement in the House of Commons this week when nearly all MPs voted in favor of a non-binding motion brought forward by the Bloc Québécois declaring that a pandemic election would be irresponsible.
We need to continue to have a well-functioning parliament so that we can continue to get support out to Canadians, and that is very much my focus. Nobody wants an election before the end of this pandemic.
There should not be an election in a pandemic. The only reason they would do this is because they want to seek power, and they're not making a decision in the interest of people.
So does any of that change anything about the timing around the next election? Can the Prime Minister justify calling one anytime soon? It's Thursday. I'm here with that issue. Chantal Hébert, Andrew Coyne, and Althea Raj. Good to see everybody. It's never too early to start election speculation with a minority government. This sort of gave us a hook to talk about this motion, and I don't think that the motion in any way changes the conversation, Althea, but what would be sort of the parameters around in which the Prime Minister might consider an election, even though he says that he doesn't want one?
Well, I think the best indication of that is probably an interview he gave you, Rosemary, back while we were not even out of the second wave yet on your Sunday show, Rosemary Burton Live, where he actually suggested that there might be an election this coming year in 2021, and then caught himself and said, oh, potential election. And he basically blamed the opposition, saying that we know, these are his words, that the opposition parties don't agree with his post-pandemic plans. And the response, of course, was Jagmeet Singh saying, hey, wait a second, the NDP agrees with most of your post-pandemic plans. In fact, we'd like you to do more things that we've suggested that you yourself have suggested, like pharmacare, which was mysteriously out of the budget. Now, there are more cleavages have emerged. The Liberals' childcare plan, for example, obviously not supported by the Conservatives. So the Liberals have a little bit more ammunition to say that the opposition parties don't support their post-pandemic plans. One other, I guess, frame, if you wish, that we've heard the Prime Minister and his ministers talk about is that they don't have the participation of the opposition parties in the House of Commons to get their bills passed. I would say that the facts don't bear that out, that any important piece of legislation has been passed and passed relatively quickly. So he has the opportunity to say, none of my things are working out, so you need to give me a majority government. But I'm not sure that that the facts are there for him to make a strong argument on that front.
Yeah, Chantal, if he was going to make that case, because I don't know if Canadians would care when 2 days later, but if he was going to make the case, what would he have to make it with?
Not very much. Seriously, we're not going to have an election because the opposition parties are not going fast enough to allow the government to have an election in the middle of a pandemic. Nor are we going to have an election because Parliament needs to be working so that we can have pandemic-related measures, because those, by and large, have happened. And nor can we have an election on the government's post-pandemic plan, because that would be what was in the budget. And last time I checked, that budget is not only getting through with NDP support, but it has sailed through the House of Commons. So on major bills, set aside the election thing, the government has had no trouble in finding opposition support. Broadcasting, the bill that Andrew doesn't like and that has triggered a lot of discussion, has bloc support. The environment big bill about net zero has NDP support. UNDRIP just passed in the House of Commons. So the rationale, less than 2 years in a term, really hard to justify, except for partisan gain. And it would be so nice to have a majority and not have to worry about opposition parties.
Right, but you can't go out and say that to Canadians, I don't think, Andrew. I mean, maybe you can. I mean, fine, but I would say that you probably have to put something else in the window to convince Canadians, well, to vote for you, but also to give you that other mandate.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I'll just make my ritual observation here that, in fact, we have a fixed election date law. They're not supposed to be able to call an election, but nobody actually pays any attention to that.
We appreciate you making that caveat.
So while the law won't govern it, what will govern it is the polls.
Right.
So let me just first of all say I agree with my colleagues that basically the government has no credible argument to call an election. They could only call one credibly, it seems to me, if either they had accomplished everything they set out to do, or the opposition was preventing them from accomplishing what they set out to do. But they only had a throne speech less than a year ago. And as both Chantal and Althea have mentioned, the bills have been sailing through. So they can't make a credible argument. They would still be prepared to make totally non-credible arguments if they had the polling data to support it. But if you look at the polls, basically the Liberals are maybe 6 points ahead. They would probably win the most seats if an election were called today, but it's anything but clear that they would win a majority, and that's the only point, or would be the only point of calling an election. So the Liberals aren't going to call one anytime soon, and the opposition, I don't think, are going to give them the pretext of defeating them, because remember, all three opposition parties would have to vote together to defeat them. And usually when one party is raring to go for an election, another party has a reason to think that they don't want to go to an election, again, strictly governed by the polls.
Okay, not to get into an election speculation crystal ball thing, but just so I'm clear in your position, you don't think it's happening anytime soon. Is that
No.
fair, Andrew? No. Okay.
Yeah.
Chantal and then Althea.
I think it's less likely to happen than when you did that interview with Justin Trudeau for all the reasons that we've just stated. Now, 2 points. The main reason why the government would not be able to bring to fruition many of its plans in the budget or many of those bills would be for Justin Trudeau to call an election at the end of the summer. They would be the artisan of that delay, demise, whatever. The other point goes the other way, and it goes to election window. If you don't go early in the fall, then there are municipal elections in Montreal, Quebec City, across Quebec, across Alberta. Then 2022, Ontario elections in the spring, Quebec elections in the fall. So if you like this government and the way that Parliament has been working and there is no fall election, you may be with it for another year and a half.
Yeah, and I would say that there are probably some people inside the Liberal caucus, Althea, who would be comfortable continuing to push governing as long as they can. And to be fair, I'm not sure anyone's itching for it, but it would seem if you've got Canadians with a second dose, you've got that window Chantal is talking about, that might be tantalizing to the government as well.
It's for sure tantalizing. The biggest reason why they would go is because they feel that Erin O'Toole is weak. The Canadians don't know him. They haven't tired of Justin Trudeau yet. That they want to ride on this, the pandemic benefits that the Liberals brought forward. So help the individual, help the businesses. They want to reap the benefit of the actions that they took over the last year. They had a caucus meeting this week, and they told MPs to, be ready even for a campaign this spring. I don't think that's likely, but that August was obviously a possibility to be ready at any time. But of course, it's in the government's interest in a minority government to tell everybody, include its own MPs and the opposition, that they're ready to go to the polls at any time, because that's the only way they have any leverage over the opposition parties. So, do they need to go? No. Do they want to go? Yes. Are they trying to think of a way in which, many people around Justin Trudeau want to go. Are they trying to think of creative ways where they could make a legitimate case to the public? Yes. Will things change? Like, obviously, their thinking has shifted over the last couple of months because of the third wave. And now we're hearing the Prime Minister talk about second doses before September. So perhaps the discussion that we're having now will be completely different in 6 weeks, and then their calculations will be different too.
And, yeah, Chantal, do you want back in quickly, and then I'll go to Andrew?
Just to say that the window I talked about, that's one reason why many Liberals want to go, because in a year and a half, they're afraid that people will be focused on the fiscal position of Canada. It's going to be a lot harder. That being said, gratitude, in my book, it never won any government re-election.
That's true, but I would also say that, Andrew, that no one ever remembers the reason an election is called. Like, that goes away pretty quickly, and then you get wrapped up in, you know, whatever the arguments are people put on the table. Okay, Andrew's disagreeing with me, but that's fine.
No, I mean, I think that's often true, but, you know, tell it to David Peterson, you know.
Yes. Okay.
Sometimes it does come back to bite you.
Yeah.
And I think the problem for the Liberals, I mean, there's all sorts of reasons that have been laid out why they would like, other things being equal, to go sooner rather than later.
Sure.
But the polling data is going to govern that. And the problem they've got is that not only has nobody really got a whole lot of traction in the polls, I think there's an apathy gap that the Liberals are facing, that the people who are riled up against this government, I think, are much more fervent in their feelings than the people who like this government. And that means that, if anything, the polls would be overstating their support. So I think caution will rule the day, at least until the fall.
And that sentiment you're describing there would only get worse for the government, I would imagine, as time gets on, would it not?
That's the danger. But they may stand to get a gain once the pandemic is past. There may be that we have this wave of relief and people are feeling good about things, and they get, you know, as governing parties sometimes do in those situations, they get a wave of support coming out of that, and it might be worth sticking around to see that.
Okay, I got to leave it there. That was good. We'll see. We only got a few more panels left. Maybe it'll happen before our summer break. Before we go, be sure to subscribe to At Issue, the podcast. We've got extra content there, including the panel's take on this story.
I'm not going to be Pollyanna here. We're in the middle of a real serious challenge.
You can find that on any major podcast app and on our website, cbcnews.ca/thenational. And with that, I'll throw it back to Adrian in Toronto.
Thank you, Rosie. Officials continue to say vaccines are critical for a return to normal, but for some, those vaccines may not be enough.
I have to live as if I'm not vaccinated.
Next, what it will take to protect people with weakened immune systems. And how a box of wartime love letters found its way across the border and back home. Welcome back. As COVID rates drop and vaccination rates rise, many are looking forward to resuming normal life. But that is not the case for some people with underlying health issues. Joanna Miliotis looks at why the vaccine doesn't offer everyone the same amount of protection.
Walks are pretty safe, and Mike Willis has had 2 doses of vaccine, but he and his wife Linda still watch their every step.
I can't believe that I have enough from the vaccinations to do enough to properly protect me. And so I have to live as if I'm not vaccinated.
Willis got a heart transplant 6 years ago. The medication he's been on since suppresses his immune system.
These are my anti-rejection medications.
He needs protection, but so far vaccines don't seem to offer much.
With 2 doses, only 50% of transplant recipients are showing an antibody response, and the majority of them are showing less response than the general public.
It is an isolating reality. While most Canadians inch towards normal, many can't.
It was very frustrating. I spent many hours on the phone.
Ellen Kunzig has Crohn's disease. Her first shot doesn't offer much protection, so she's trying to get her second one sooner.
And that is something that's really, really isolating for a group of people who have really been forgotten during much of this pandemic.
It's different in every province. Ontario is now vaccinating teenagers too, but shortened the list of who can get a second shot sooner. Kunzig is no longer eligible, but managed to make an appointment.
I'm not confident that I will get my second dose when I show up at the vaccine clinic, so there's a lot of anxiety.
She had to advocate for it at the clinic and ended up getting her shot.
I think we don't know a lot.
For the most part, this immunologist says vulnerable Canadians have to rely on others for protection.
They will be most protected when community spread drops to almost nothing. We encourage everyone to get vaccinated because you're not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting those people whose immunity might not be as good.
Willis is part of a study to see how well a third dose of vaccine works on transplant recipients. There are no guarantees, but
I'm alive. I'll live with it. Without a heart transplant, I wouldn't be here. I just wake up every day happy that I'm alive.
so he'll keep living his life, he says, as fully and as carefully as he can. Joanna Rumiliotis, CBC News, Guelph, Ontario.
Now, just in case protection isn't motivation enough to get the vaccine, people in the U.S. are being offered some big prizes.
The lottery ticket convinced you to get a shot.
That's right.
Why is that?
Because I can always use extra money.
Up next, we'll look at whether those added incentives are working.
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's Daily News podcast, Front Burner, Amazon is very close to owning some of the most beloved titles in film and television history after purchasing MGM Studios. We'll take a closer look at what the deal means for the content on your screens. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And welcome back. For the more than half of adult Canadians who have received at least one vaccine shot, the key driver are the known benefits of personal, family, and community health and safety. But parts of the U.S. are offering more material incentives. Chris Reyes explains.
The first winner, Abigail Buginski from Silverton. Congratulations!
From that same lottery, 8th grader Joseph Costello took home a full college scholarship, all thanks to their vaccine shots. Almost 3 million Ohio residents signed up to get vaccinated after hearing they could win big.
It's for a great cause because we're getting a lot more people vaccinated because of this lottery.
In New York, a similar lottery.
Vaccine Scratch. You get a vaccination and you get a lottery ticket for the $5 million mega multiplier New York State lottery.
Eugene Ray traveled from the Bronx to Manhattan just for those tickets.
The lottery ticket convinced you to get a shot.
That's right.
Why is that?
Because I can always use extra money.
In the United States, more than half of the population has had at least one vaccine dose, but that number is starting to plateau, and so governments and businesses are offering enticements. From a year of free flights from United Airlines,
here he goes, LeBron!
To basketball tickets, or at this Times Square clinic, free donuts.
Here at the American Museum of Natural History, the freebie up for grabs, tickets, and a cool experience.
You get 4 people to come in for free at the museum. Got vaccinated right under the whale. Pretty dope. The whale got a big Band-Aid on it. It's pretty funny. Yeah, it's nice.
I was against the mandatory testing.
For this New York nurse, it's all a bit much. She's choosing not to get the vaccine, and no prize will convince her.
I think it's ridiculous if you have to bribe someone to get a vaccine. That's not a good sign.
Johnson & Johnson.
For these tourists from Colombia, no prize needed. They're just happy to get the shot.
So did you come here just to get the vaccine?
Yeah, to New York, yeah.
The true test of the incentives may come on the 4th of July, the White House's deadline for 70% of U.S. adults to have at least one dose. Chris Reyes, CBC News, New York.
An Ontario woman could not believe what she found tucked away in a box in her basement. Those are wartime love letters, so she set out to find out who they belong to. Her journey to find their rightful owners, next. "40 years before this picture was taken, Morris and Betty Starkman were newlyweds, ready to start their lives together in Detroit, Michigan. Instead, though, Morris was sent to fight in the Korean War. So during that time, the newlyweds wrote to each other, obviously, letters that would eventually be discovered in a basement in southwestern Ontario. The woman who found those letters made it her mission to return them. That's tonight's moment.
I started doing online auctions and I bought a box of magazines, opened it up and I saw the letters and I was like, well, there's something in here. There was this really cool, beautiful tin at the bottom and I love old tins and it was like really pretty with roses. I kind of went through the names of the family members. So the children and then the grandchildren.
So I called my brother immediately and I'm like, I can't wait to tell Dad. This is so exciting.
I got everybody's addresses and they finally arrived.
We were really like so over the moon and like really excited reading these right now and being like, wow, my grandfather is my age as he's writing this. has been insane.
These letters don't belong to me, and they need to be where with the people that they were meant to be with, and that was, to me, was the biggest relief.
Okay, so this is lovely. You heard Angela there mention that she bought these at auction, but that was like 7 or 8 years ago, and she just sort of put the box away, and it wasn't until the pandemic, when she realized she had a little extra time on her hands, that she started to go through the box and found the letters. That is a national for May the 27th.